Hey everybody, Jay Super Awesome here. I'd like to welcome you all to episode number 25 of my slasher movie archives. And with the season of love fast approaching, in this video I will be giving my review for The Love Butcher, released in 1975. The Love Butcher. He turns a quiet neighborhood into a slaughterhouse. Okay, so getting into the plot for this one. A string of murders in a posh neighborhood has the police department stumped, and the local press is breathing down their necks. Strangely, nobody notices that several victims share the same gardener, a bent, elderly man with a crippled arm named Caleb. Even though all of the murder weapons are lawn care tools, Caleb remains above suspicion. Of course, it isn't Caleb doing the killing, but rather his second personality, a confident, handsome, younger brother named Lester, who Caleb turns into when he dons a toupee. That's when he seduces and slashes his employers, most of whom harp insults and derision upon Caleb as he works. Lester dons a variety of disguises to gain entry, employing false accents and charming patter to bed down his victims. The two personalities battle when alone, though, and one of them will eventually have to overcome the other. Okay, so getting into my thoughts for this one, I thought I would start off this review with a question. Have you ever started a film that you had never seen before, and within the opening moments of that film, you automatically knew that there's a really good chance that you're going to have a good time with the movie? Well, that was me with this one, and this movie did not disappoint. I had an absolute blast watching this one. Now, it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, and it's actually kind of weird in a way. The movie, to me, seems to play straightforward with a serious tone, but at the same time, there's no possible way that you can take it seriously with how over the top the villain is in the movie storyline. And there's actually some wacky slapstick sound effects that's thrown in from time to time, so it does make this movie feel a little offbeat. But I have to say that I really enjoyed the creativity that was put into this movie, and it definitely held my interest. This Code Red release, while very watchable, it's not the best transfer. It's your typical Code Red kind of release. There are moments in this movie where the picture and audio quality go from really good to really bad. These moments only last for a few seconds, so I don't believe it's a complete deal breaker. With that being said, this was a low budget film in 1975, so I feel like this Code Red release does get the job done. And I'm happy to have it in my Blu-ray collection. It's a very bare bones release, with the only special feature being a commentary track. So I thought that was worth mentioning. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the characters we have in The Love Butcher. With the main character in this movie's storyline being the villain, I'm going to take a little time and talk about some of the victim characters. Now, I'm not going to break them all down individually because they all share very similar traits. Basically, what we have here is a neighborhood full of female victims who share a lot of things in common. Now, we are not limited to only female victims, so keep that in mind. The most noteworthy thing that they all share in common is they all have the same gardener. Now, most of these girls treat the gardener poorly. They see him as a crippled old man, or they simply see him as a weirdo, and they treat him as such. It's these interactions that triggers our villain, who has a split personality, which ultimately leads them to their demise. Now, we do have one girl named Flo who is actually nice to the gardener. She treats him with respect and actually serves him lunch. Unfortunately for her, she doesn't truly know who she's dealing with, and her kindness gives him the wrong impression. So, really, she isn't any better off than the girls who have treated him poorly. She's in the same boat, so to speak. They are all targets and being pursued based off their interactions with him. We also have the police who are trying to solve the murder mystery part of the storyline. We have a reporter who is romantically connected to Flo. He is trying endlessly to help the police solve the case. So, in a way, with this movie having those investigative aspects to the storyline, it's almost comparable to the Italian giallo style of horror movies. It's very similar, but at the same time it feels different because we are spending so much time with the killer in this movie. So it's different, but I do see some similarities. Overall, I really enjoyed the characters in this movie, and to me, I thought the dialogue was fantastic and well written for what they were trying to do, and I thought the acting was solid in my opinion. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the most important part of a slasher movie, that is, the killer and the kills. There's a lot to unpack here with having a killer with split personalities. It's very reminiscent to Norman Bates from Psycho, who shares personalities with his mother. So based off the response to the characters around him, it triggers the more dominant mother character. It's basically the same thing here with Caleb, sharing personalities with his dead brother Lester. Caleb is the frail, crippled old man who by day is the harmless gardener. It's after the workday when Caleb returns home when he begins to interact with his more dominant personality, his dead brother Lester. Lester is the more handsome of the two. He's more confident. He's used to having his way with the ladies. So Lester is a complete opposite of Caleb. Lester is a ladies' man. You have probably heard the phrase, love them and leave them, but here it's love them and then butcher them. It's these interactions between the two personalities that are really interesting and really fun to watch. It's these scenes we truly learn how insane Caleb is. You could just imagine that living with multiple personalities wouldn't be easy for anybody. But it's just really fun to watch how Caleb will absorb information from each girl and then use his alternate, more dominant personality, Lester, to flip the script. He invades these girls' lives, romantically pursuing them, sleeping with some of them, and then killing them. Others, he's just able to get close enough to them to commit murder. He has used these tactics for months and hasn't been caught. He does eventually reach a breaking point with having the two insane conflicting personalities, but I have to say that with Caleb and Lester combined, they definitely make for one memorable slasher movie villain. And as far as the kills go, we have somewhere between 4 to 6 kills if my memory serves me correctly. As the movie opens up, we have a dead girl laying on the ground who has been run through with a pitchfork. And considering the killer is a gardener, we have a pretty good variety of kills. All the kills are done with gardening tools. He uses hedge clippers and gardening shears, and he even uses a water hose along with some other gardening and lawn care equipment. The kills are fun, and we get a decent amount of that groovy red 70s blood. Overall, through and through, I really enjoyed this movie. The storyline was fun and interesting, the characters were fun to follow, and the acting was solid. The dialogue was top-notch in my opinion, and the kills were a lot of fun to watch as well. IMDb give The Love Butcher a 5.8. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Remember, evil never dies, it just rests a while. It watches, it waits. Please like, subscribe, comment below. Let me know if you have seen The Love Butcher, or just let me know what you think about my review. And as always, I would like to thank you all for watching.